It is just one of many strange patterns that appear in the English countryside every year.
In the rolling fields of Wiltshire, England, witnesses report seeing a glowing orb hover above the wheat before the intricate geometric design materialized in mere seconds. From anomalous radiation readings in the soil to AI-detected hidden symmetries, every aspect of this crop circle challenges what we thought we knew about physics, biology, and human ingenuity. For scientists, skeptics, and enthusiasts alike, this godlike crop circle discovery has just left everyone speechless. Let's tell the whole story. The mysterious Wiltshire crop circle formation. In May 2025, an extraordinary crop circle formation appeared in the fields near Sutton Veny, Wiltshire, England. This intricate design, measuring approximately 180 feet, or 55 meters, in diameter, featured a ringed circle encompassing an elaborate standing Celtic knot at its center. Witnesses reported observing a glowing orb hovering silently above the field, and within less than 15 seconds, the geometric pattern materialized beneath it. This unprecedented formation speed challenges conventional understanding of crop circle phenomena. Subsequent investigations into the affected soil revealed anomalous characteristics. Radiation levels and isotopic compositions deviated from standard agricultural norms, suggesting an anomalous energy source. For instance, soil samples from the formation site exhibited elevated levels of potassium-40, radium-226, thorium-232, and cesium-137, indicating unusual radioactive activity. These findings were part of a broader study that analyzed multiple crop circle sites, including Milk Hill No. 2, and found that the chance of a random soil sample yielding such high radiation was approximately 1 in 128. But that's not all. In addition to the unusual soil properties, advanced AI algorithms identified complex geometric structures within the formation. These algorithms, employing techniques such as mask-RCNN and YOLOv3-based networks, detected intricate patterns and symmetries that are not immediately apparent to the naked eye. The detection of these hidden geometries suggests a level of design complexity that challenges conventional understanding of crop circle formations. The combination of rapid formation, anomalous soil characteristics, and hidden geometric patterns in the Sutton Veny crop circle has led to various theories regarding its origin. Some researchers propose that the formation could be the result of an undiscovered atmospheric phenomenon, such as a plasma vortex, which has been suggested in past crop circle formations. Others speculate about the involvement of advanced technology, possibly of extraterrestrial origin. The possibility that this formation is a form of communication spanning decades and perhaps even centuries cannot be dismissed. To better understand things, let's take a walk through history. History of crop circles in Wiltshire. The phenomenon of crop circles in Wiltshire, England, traces its modern origins to the late 1970s, when farmers and local residents began reporting mysterious circular impressions in their fields of wheat and barley. These early formations were relatively simple, single circles ranging from 20 to 40 feet in diameter, but they appeared without a clear explanation and often overnight. At first, they attracted only local curiosity, but by the early 1980s, the sheer number of reports and the sudden complexity of some designs drew attention from national newspapers and television crews. By the middle of the decade, Wiltshire had become synonymous with the crop circle mystery. The timing of their emergence coincided with a broader surge of public fascination with UFOs in Britain. During the 1970s and early 1980s, Britain's Ministry of Defence had quietly collected reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, many of which originated in southern England. Wiltshire, with its sweeping chalk downs and open fields, was a natural canvas for any unexplained activity. Sites like Stonehenge, the Great Henge Complex at Avebury, and Silbury Hill, the largest prehistoric artificial mound in Europe, already made the landscape a magnet for speculation about ancient astronomy and lost knowledge. The sudden appearance of strange symbols in the crops seemed, to many, a continuation of this otherworldly tradition. By the late 1980s, The crop circles had evolved from single rings into increasingly intricate designs. Some featured multiple concentric circles, while others branched into geometric starbursts or contained interlocking rings. In 1988, one of the most striking examples appeared near Westbury, a Wiltshire town famous for its chalk hill figure of a white horse. Measuring over 100 feet in diameter, the design contained several interlocking circles in perfect proportion, baffling observers who struggled to imagine how it could have been made in a single night. Soon after, formations began to appear not just in Wiltshire, but also in neighbouring counties such as Hampshire, Gloucestershire and Oxfordshire, though Wiltshire remained the undisputed heartland of the phenomenon. The 1990 summer marked a turning point. That year, one of the most famous crop circles appeared in a field at Alton Barnes, Wiltshire, depicting a massive pictogram over 400 feet long. The formation was documented by researchers, aerial photographers, and even scientists intrigued by its symmetry. The Alton Barnes pictogram became a global sensation, featured on television news across Europe and North America, and it established the modern image of crop circles as elaborate works of mysterious intelligence. From that moment forward, crop circles were no longer regarded as simple oddities, but as elaborate puzzles. Throughout the 1990s, Wiltshire's fields hosted some of the most complex and visually stunning formations ever recorded. In 1996, a formation at Stonehenge appeared within sight of the famous stones themselves. Known as the Julia set, the design consisted of 151 circles arranged in a spiral that stretched nearly 1,000 feet across. It seemed to appear in broad daylight within a 45-minute window, witnessed by a pilot flying over the site and by motorists on the nearby A303 road. The sheer scale and apparent speed of its creation reignited speculation that some unknown force, whether natural, technological, or even extraterrestrial, was at work. However, not all researchers leaned toward alien theories. In the late 1980s and 1990s, physicist Dr. Terence Meaden proposed that the circles were created by plasma vortices, or spinning columns of ionized air that could flatten crops in circular patterns. He linked the phenomenon to reports of ball lightning and unusual weather conditions. Although his theory initially attracted some support, the growing complexity of the formations made it increasingly difficult to sustain. By the mid-1990s, when fractal-like designs and mathematical imagery began to appear, even Meaden admitted that plasma vortices alone could not account for the precision of the patterns. Other scientists examined the phenomenon from different angles. Biophysicist William C. Levengood, based in Michigan, conducted soil and plant studies from samples collected in English crop circles. His research, published in the journal Physiologia Plantarum in 1994, reported unusual changes in the plants, elongated nodes, expulsion cavities, and altered germination rates. He also noted magnetic anomalies in the soil, including the presence of tiny, iron-rich spherical particles. While critics argued that Levengood's work lacked sufficient controls and peer replication, his findings fueled the belief that crop circles involved unusual energy sources rather than simple flattening by mechanical means. To enthusiasts, his work was seen as proof that the phenomenon had a physical dimension not easily explained away. The role of geometry and mathematics also drew intense attention. Many of the formations displayed precise ratios, including expressions of the golden mean, Pythagorean triangles, and fractal expansions such as the Koch snowflake. In 2001, the Milk Hill Formation near Alton Barnes appeared as a six-fold star containing 409 individual circles, covering nearly 25,000 square meters of wheat. Mathematicians marveled at its near-perfect proportions, and aerial photographs were published in newspapers around the world. For some, it was evidence of advanced intelligence. Others remained skeptical, but people were drawn towards them nonetheless. The tourism angle. At the height of the craze, between the late 1990s and early 2000s, over 10,000 visitors descended on Wiltshire each summer, with peak years drawing even larger crowds during particularly elaborate or widely publicized formations. Many came from Europe, North America, and Japan, eager to experience firsthand what they believed to be signs of extraterrestrial contact or messages encoded in sacred geometry. Helicopter rides soon became one of the most popular attractions. As crop circles grew increasingly complex, their beauty and intricacy were best appreciated from the air. By the early 2000s, local helicopter operators reported flying hundreds of tours in a single season, with each ride costing between £50 and £100 per person. Tour operators often found themselves booked weeks in advance, especially in July and August, when formations were at their peak. Simultaneously, small businesses selling maps, guidebooks, and crop circle souvenirs flourished. Independent publishers released dozens of titles documenting new formations each year, while documentaries, ranging from serious investigative films to sensationalist television specials, brought international attention that further fueled the influx of visitors. The effect on Wiltshire's rural economy was undeniable. The region, known traditionally for agriculture and modest tourism tied to Stonehenge and Avebury, saw an entirely new revenue stream emerge from what many considered little more than flattened crops. Bed and breakfasts in villages like Alton Barnes, Devizes, and Pewsey Vale often reported full bookings throughout the summer months. Pubs and restaurants benefited as well, with some reporting increases in seasonal turnover by 20 to 30% compared to non-crop circle years. Crop circle tourism was injecting hundreds of thousands of pounds annually into Wiltshire's economy during its peak years. Even farmers, though initially frustrated by the destruction of their crops, began to capitalise on the phenomenon. Some charged entry fees to curious visitors, typically around £2 to £5 per person, to walk into the formations. Others struck deals with tour operators or documentary crews, allowing access in exchange for compensation. While not all landowners approved, and many still regarded the circles as costly vandalism, the revenue generated in some cases offset the damage to crops, particularly when thousands of people queued to visit a single elaborate design. The wider media industry also played a key role in magnifying the financial impact. Television specials on the BBC, Channel 4, and international broadcasters in Japan and the United States brought Wiltshire to living rooms around the globe. A 1999 documentary by the Discovery Channel, for instance, was broadcast to millions of viewers worldwide, cementing Wiltshire's reputation as the Mecca of crop circles. Magazines such as Fate and Fortean Times ran regular features, while glossy coffee table books featuring aerial photographs became bestsellers among enthusiasts. The cumulative effect was a feedback loop. The more the phenomenon was publicised, the more tourists arrived, and the more local businesses adapted to cater to them. By the early 2000s, Wiltshire's summer crop circle season rivaled Stonehenge's midsummer solstice as a cultural event. Visitors often combined both experiences, creating an alternative tourism economy. The annual Glastonbury Symposium, founded in 1990, became one of the largest conferences dedicated to crop circles, attracting speakers, authors, and hundreds of attendees from around the world. Even the number of reported formations fed into this economic cycle. In 1990, around 500 crop circles were recorded globally, with the vast majority concentrated in southern England. By 1998, annual counts had reached well over 1,000 worldwide, with Wiltshire consistently hosting some of the largest and most intricate examples. This sheer density guaranteed that each summer would provide fresh material for tourists and media alike. Local helicopter companies, bookstores, and conference organisers could count on a predictable surge in business year after year. It was at this point that a headline changed everything: the confession of Doug Bower and Dave Chorley. In 1991, Doug Bower and Dave Chorley confessed to having made many of the circles that had mystified researchers and the public for over a decade. Using nothing more than planks, ropes, and measuring tools, the pair demonstrated their process to journalists, creating a crop formation overnight with precision and speed. They intended to demystify the phenomenon and show that the intricate designs, often attributed to extraterrestrial or supernatural forces, could in fact be the work of human ingenuity. They also exposed how media fascination had amplified what was essentially a form of land art into an international mystery. Bauer and Chorley's revelation did not put an end to the crop circle phenomenon, however. In fact, their admission inspired a wave of imitators, and a subculture of circle makers emerged in the 1990s and 2000s. Groups like circlemakers.org, led by artists such as John Lundberg, took the practice further by embracing it as a form of artistic and cultural expression. They incorporated advanced design methods, including computer-aided planning and the use of surveying equipment, which allowed for greater geometric accuracy. By working in teams, often under the cover of darkness, they created formations that spanned hundreds of feet and displayed astonishing symmetry. These circles grew increasingly complex, featuring fractal designs, three-dimensional illusions, and symbolic references ranging from sacred geometry to pop culture. Other confessions over the years reinforced the idea that crop circles were predominantly man-made. Students, artists, pranksters, and even advertising companies admitted to producing formations. One high-profile example came in 1992, when a Japanese television crew documented a team of people creating a circle in Wiltshire overnight, proving once again that such feats were achievable with coordinated effort. In 1998, the British cereal company Weetabix sponsored a promotional crop circle, and in 2002, Microsoft commissioned one in Oregon to promote the launch of its Xbox gaming console. These corporate-sponsored designs revealed that crop circles had become so widely recognized that they could be commercialized. The techniques behind crop circle creation also evolved. While the early pioneers relied on basic tools, later groups introduced laser pointers, GPS devices, and pre-drawn blueprints to increase accuracy. Teams would mark reference points in the field and then flatten crops in carefully measured sections, ensuring symmetry and complexity. Some formations were completed in just a few hours, often so swiftly and precisely that locals woke up astonished at the sudden appearance of massive and perfectly aligned designs. The impact of these revelations and confessions on locals in Wiltshire and surrounding areas was mixed. On the one hand, many farmers were frustrated by the trespassing and the damage to their crops. The flattening of wheat or barley could cost hundreds or even thousands of pounds in lost revenue. And although some landowners profited by charging small entrance fees, others saw only vandalism and intrusion. Cases were reported where landowners attempted to deter circle makers. On the other hand, the continued fascination with crop circles brought undeniable benefits. Villages like Alton Barnes, Devizes, and Pewsey Vale saw seasonal boosts in tourism as visitors poured in to witness the mysterious formations. Local pubs, shops, and bed and breakfasts profited from the influx, and some farmers embraced the phenomenon by collaborating with tour operators or granting controlled access. For certain communities, the crop circles became as much a part of their seasonal economy as traditional agriculture, creating a peculiar balance between resentment and reluctant acceptance. The human confessions also shifted the cultural perception of crop circles. For some enthusiasts, the artistry of the circles became more compelling than their supposed paranormal origins. Researchers who once sought evidence of extraterrestrials began to acknowledge the role of human creativity, while artists celebrated the circles as one of the world's most unusual forms of land art. Yet, at the same time, a significant portion of the public continued to believe that not all crop circles could be explained this way. The presence of mathematical precision, occasional reports of soil anomalies, and the sheer scale of some formations fed ongoing speculation that at least a minority of circles might still be the result of unexplained phenomena. So, what should we make of the May 2025 crop circle formation? Debunking and critical perspectives. While many still find the idea of extraterrestrial artists shaping fields beneath the Wiltshire sky irresistible, the weight of evidence tilts decisively toward a more terrestrial source. To evaluate the latest May 2025 formation fairly, we must place it within this larger framework of skepticism and critical inquiry that has developed over decades. The most persistent challenge to the extraterrestrial hypothesis is the stark absence of verifiable data. No peer-reviewed study has ever produced consistent results pointing to an otherworldly or unknown natural cause. Soil samples, one of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence, are a case in point. From the 1990s onward, researchers like those involved in Project Argus used gamma-ray spectroscopy, scanning electron microscopy, and isotopic analysis to probe for anomalies. While a handful of tests reported minor irregularities in soil chemistry or radiation levels, these findings were never reproducible on a large scale. More often than not, similar anomalies could be traced to mundane causes, such as differences in moisture content, exposure to fertilizers, or contamination from farm machinery. This gap in hard evidence has fueled alternative theories that focus not on aliens, but on the quirks of nature and human psychology. One line of argument centers on misunderstood natural phenomena. For instance, meteorological anomalies like whirlwinds, plasma vortices, or ball lightning have occasionally been suggested as potential circle makers. The problem, however, is scale and precision. While atmospheric turbulence might produce circular flattening in crops, it does not explain the sharp angles, fractals, and mathematical symmetries found in Wiltshire's most intricate designs. That said, the mere suggestion of natural causes illustrates that people often ascribe mystery to what they do not fully understand. Equally important is the role of the human mind. Psychologists have long studied pareidolia, or the tendency to perceive meaningful patterns in randomness. This cognitive bias, coupled with humanity's age-old fascination with signs and symbols, makes crop circles a natural magnet for interpretation. A field pattern, regardless of origin, can be transformed in the human imagination into a cosmic message or spiritual sigil. This search for meaning has been further amplified by media coverage, books, and documentaries, which often highlight spectacular formations without equal attention to critical explanations. In many ways, the phenomenon persists less because of evidence and more because of the stories people want to believe. Wiltshire's farmers often bear the brunt of the phenomenon. While crop circles draw thousands of tourists and generate revenue for nearby towns, they also damage crops, disrupt farming schedules, and create disputes over property rights. Some farmers embrace the publicity, charging small fees to access their fields, while others see the formations as vandalism and destroy them as quickly as possible. The persistence of hoax admissions has gradually shifted local opinion, but the mystery has not completely evaporated. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.